Today I'm bringing you all the planetary news for April. It's a very exciting time. It's the Hindu New Year. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very warm namaste. First things first. So April 12th is considered the first day of the Hindu New Year. Why? Because April 11th is the last new moon night of the month of Chaitra. And so the next day, which is April 12th, is considered the first day of the Hindu New Year, and it's called Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. So happy Hindu New Year to everybody, and I hope this year is very auspicious and may all your dreams and wishes be fulfilled. Secondly, I want to wish everybody that has a birthday in April a very, very happy birthday. Make sure you watch my video that talks about the 10 magical things that you should do on your birthday to activate all the good planets in your horoscope and your birth chart. So that's the next. April's a very busy month for all the planets. Everybody's moving ahead and doing something or the other. So it's creating quite a stir. A lot of it is good news. So I'm going to start with all the transits. So let me just tell you about. So April 9th, Venus goes into the next house. It's going to go into Aries. Then on April 13th, Mars is going to go into the next sign of Gemini. It's been sitting in Taurus in the clutches of Rahu, creating all this turmoil that's going on in the world right now. The aggressive kind of stuff that's going on. So it's going to finally be freed, and it's going to go into the next house of Gemini. It's a better transit for it. Then finally, the most important transit is going to be the Sun's transit on April 14th. It goes into Aries, which is the house of exaltation for Sun, and this is what we're going to talk about more in this video, more detail about that, which is it's the most important transit of all. And then on April 17th, Mercury moves into Aries. So did you notice that there's 3 planets going into Aries? And so we're going to talk about that. Aries is one of the most important zodiacs right now. I'll tell you why. So stay tuned for that. The planets and the heavens and the universe is very busy. We need it to be busy because this is a good busy, not a bad busy. You know the difference. I'm going to talk about the Sun's transit into Aries. Now this is going to be a 2-part video because today I'm going to talk about this transit, first part, its significations, and I'm going to give you a very, very magical remedy for your career-related remedy. And also in the second part, the second video I'm going to put out, I'm going to do the predictions per ascendants, which everybody loves. So today I'm going to talk about the Sun. I'm going to give you this very powerful remedy. The remedy is for your career advancement. And if you're looking for a job, this is a perfect remedy. It works like a miracle. So let me talk about the Sun a little bit, and then we'll go on to the remedy portion of this video. I'm going to put a timestamp in this video for when the remedy portion is, so in case people want to watch the video later and the transit has already occurred months later, they can just skip to the remedy portion. Let's talk about the Sun first, and which will explain the remedy as well. So the Sun is the focal point of the universe. It is the Sun that all the planets revolve around, and hence the Sun represents leadership. In old times, in ancient times, the Sun represented the kings and the rulers. In today's day and age, they represent the leaders, meaning the government, the governing bodies, high-level politicians, sometimes even the low-level politicians, and also leaders of very large organizations. Now, why would I say the leaders of larger organizations and politicians in the same sentence? Well, that is because the large organizations and the leaders provide livelihood and employment to a very large number of people, which is what the kings used to do in ancient times. You know, they provided the livelihood to a very large number of people. They kind of took care of the people that they were, that their own people. So that's what the Sun represents in nowadays. So when we pray to the Sun God, we're actually praying for our career and our livelihood and our employment. Hence this remedy. So why is Aries important, and why is this remedy so effective if we do it now? Aries signifies the first house of the zodiac. Hence, Aries is the start of new things, the start of beginnings. Well, the Sun is the leader, and Aries is the first house of the zodiac. So the first position, so Aries has the first position. So naturally the leader loves being in the first position, so sun loves being in Aries, and that's why it's considered exalted in Aries. What does the exaltation of a planet means? It means that the planet is now the most powerful to give its most benefic results. So even when a malefic planet goes into its exaltation position, it actually gives you it's powerful enough to give you its benefic influences. So the sun, which is considered slightly malefic in nature, but fair, it's considered exalted in Aries, and it's now powerful enough to give you its most benefic influences. So people that have a very strong exalted sun in their charts are very confident, they're fearless, they're very ambitious and not aggressive, because aggression is through Mars. So they're very confident, and they have a lot of self-respect, and they're natural born leaders. So if you see the charts of a lot of the famous politicians that are very successful, you'll see the placement of the sun is extremely well, it's a well-placed sun in their charts. A lot of times it's exalted as well. The high-level politicians and leaders of large organizations have to have a very well-placed sun. So one more piece of the puzzle is that when sun goes into Aries, it goes into the nakshatra, which is the first nakshatra of the zodiac, which is called Ashwini. And so this is even more important to know. So Ashwini nakshatra, the first one, and it's ruled by Ketu. But what does Ashwini mean, or Ashwin mean? Ashwin means actually they mean horses, but the white horses that are the healing horses. But Ashwin actually means the first rays of dawn. So dawn is the time of the passage between darkness and light. So actually this is literally the meaning from moving from a slightly dark place or a negative place into lightness, which is the start of something new, the anticipation, the hope of new things and new beginnings. So that's why this remedy, and the fact that that's when sun comes out and it goes into Aries and in exaltation, it goes into this beautiful nakshatra of Ashwini, and it signals and signifies this start of something great, is the perfect time to do new things or start new things, especially this remedy. You can do this remedy at any time during the year, but when you do it at this time, it becomes magical, because the nakshatras and the planets are perfectly aligned to give you something, especially if you're looking for a job and you're looking for career advancement, but especially if you're looking for a job, the stars are perfectly aligned to give you a new job. The other most important signification of the Ashwini nakshatra is healing. So when the sun moves into Aries and the Ashwini into Aries, into the Ashwini nakshatra, it represents healing from a past wound, a hurt, or any place of darkness into this into a place of light and into the dawn of new things. So definitely this is the start of something new that you can do. So anything since the sun is the natural ruler of the fifth house, significations of the fifth house, you can start anything related to that. So what does the fifth house signify? It definitely signifies children. So if you're thinking of starting a family, it would be a great time to do that. I caution against the nights of the full moon and the new moon, because astrology suggests that conception should not happen on those nights. So starting a family, the fifth house represents knowledge, gain of wisdom. So if you want to take courses or additional learning or anything knowledge based, gaining of knowledge, or you can start that. It's definitely a great time for that. Love life, fifth house definitely it represents your love affairs. So if you've been thinking about somebody and you want to start something, this is a perfect time. And you could do that. Crafts and hobbies, the fifth house represents that too. If you've been thinking about something, this is a good time to start it. So definitely. The fifth house also represents fun and having a great time. Definitely, I think because the lockdown's probably coming to an end, I think going out and having fun, this would be a great time for that as well. So again, this is the significations of the fifth house. It's a great transit. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about telling you about it and encouraging people to do something that's positive in their life and start something positive. Now, You know, every time I talk about something positive, the whole world around here starts chirping. All the birds and the little children they just echo into the positive environment. It just always happens. Now, the remedy is, when do you start it? So you start it on a Sunday and you end it on a Sunday, and it's for 43 days. So this would be 6 weeks, but you take an extra day, so it becomes 43 days. So the best time I'm recommending, if you're going to do it during this transit, I mean, you can start it on any Sunday, but if you're going to do it during this transit, the best time to start it would be April 18th, which is a Sunday. So, but again, if you do it later, you find this video later in the year, you can start it on any Sunday, ending on a Sunday, 6 weeks. So that will be 43 days. You have to do it for 43 days. Now, if this is for a new job, this is I'm talking about if you're doing this for a new job, okay? Okay, so 43 days, starting on a Sunday, ending on a Sunday. Now, what do you need? The only thing that you really need for this remedy is a copper vessel. You can use this kind of a vessel if you have one. It's readily available on Amazon if you don't have one. But if you have another kind of a copper vessel at home already, it could be shaped like a glass. The shape is unimportant. The only thing that's important is that it should be made of copper, okay? Not silver, not steel, nothing, just copper, okay? Why copper? Because copper is represented by sun. So it's very important that you use a vessel made of copper. The shape is not important. I just use this because every Hindu household usually has one of these looking things. And the thread, you don't need to tie. We just have it like this, so it's not necessary. So a copper vessel. Now, this is what you do. Every morning, you put water in the copper vessel, and you put a red flower. It has to be red. It can't be pink. It can't be orange. It has to be red like this. Okay, I just have a rose because they're growing here. So if you're not lucky enough to have flowers growing in your garden, then what I've suggested to a lot of people is to, like once a week, you could buy a bunch of roses from your local grocery store. They're available. Buy the red bunch, put them in water every morning, pick a flower and put it in there, and then when they're dying, don't use them when they're dying, okay? That's not a nice thing to do. So if you have one growing in your yard, that's fine. Now, let's just say you have no roses, you can't, or not roses. It can be any red flower. It doesn't have to be a rose. So if you don't have flowers and they've died and now you're faced with the substitute is gourd or brown sugar, okay? Why? Because red and brown sugar signifies the sun. So you can do that. But I would recommend that doing the red flower is, I've found that the flower works a little better. So, but in a pinch, you can use the brown sugar. Okay, so every morning. Now, the discipline is the most important thing if you're doing it for the job. If you're doing it to find a job, the discipline is going to be most important. Because what you're gonna do this at the exactamundo, okay, time every single day. So let's say I pick the time, or you pick the time of, you're going to do it at 7:50 in the morning. See, the birds are just, okay. You're going to do it at 7:50 in the morning. Every single day, it's going to have to be 7:50. Okay, for 43 days, it's going to be 7:50. Not 7:45, not 7:55, not 7:52, not, okay, 7:50. So before you start doing the remedy, you have to think of the time that you will be able to comply with for the 43 days, okay? If there are certain days that you think you're going to be traveling or you're not going to be able to, then don't pick that time now. So be very cognizant of the fact of pick a time that you're going to be able to do it all the 43 days. Now, it's very likely that you're going to get a job within the 6 weeks. The people that I've given this remedy to have had the job within 6 weeks. You have to keep doing it for the 6 weeks, even when you do get a job within the 6 weeks, okay? So you have to keep that in mind when you pick this time. So this is what you're doing. Every morning at that time, you have to put water in this vessel, put the red flower in it, and then look towards the sun. And I'm not going to pour water because it'll splash all over it, but you're going to pour the water looking up at the sun, and through the curtain of the water, you're going to kind of gaze at the sun, and you're going to say Om Suryai Namo. Suryai means sun, 11 times, okay? You can say it while you're pouring it, it doesn't matter, but you have to say it 11 times. So you can either say Om Suryai Namo, or Om Adityaya Namo. You can say it, it doesn't matter which day what you say, but those are the 3 words you have to say 11 times. So it's the mantra. It's the Surya mantra or the sun's mantra, and you have to say it 11 times. So you have to say that as you're pouring it down. I'm going to try to do it so it doesn't splash on me, but I'll still do it, okay? So as you're doing this, through this curtain of water, you have to see the sun. That's the remedy. Now, you have, like I said, pick a time. When I've told people, I've told them to put an alarm on their phone, so like for 5 or 6 minutes before the pick time, so you go, you have time to pick your water and then do the remedy at that appointed time, okay? If you miss a day, the remedy won't work. So why would you? Because the sun is a disciplinarian, and so the time that you have to maintain the time is to maintain the discipline. Okay, so discipline is important. That's why you're going to stick to that time, and that's why you're not going to miss a single day, and you're going to keep to the time, because the sun, any sun remedy asks for discipline, and that's why there's a discipline involved in this remedy. Now, it has to be done before noon. You can't pick a day in the afternoon like 4 o'clock or something. It has to be the rising sun, so the sun is still rising till noon. I felt that the remedy gives best results when the sun is pretty rising, like pretty early in the morning, like 8, 9 till that, it's a good time. Try not to pick noon, but definitely you cannot do it past noon, okay? Because the sun starts to go down by noon. So that's the remedy. Now, have I done this remedy? Yes, very early on in my career, I have done this remedy. I used to work in corporate for many, many years, and so have I done this remedy? Yes, I have. Has it worked for me? Absolutely. I got a job out of nowhere. Nowhere. Now, what else do you have to do when you're doing this remedy to find a job? You have to make sure you're doing everything you need to look for a job. Like, you can't just do the remedy and then sit around and go, one day the job will show up. Make sure you're doing everything that you need to look for the job. Remember, I said the sun wants to discipline, so make sure you're doing everything to get the job. And so then the sun helps you. Planets in the universe doesn't help people that don't help themselves. So that's very critical. Now, what is the most important thing of any astrological remedy? People come to me as an astrologer, ask for remedies, and I give them to, and when do the remedies work like a miracle? When you have implicit faith that the remedy will work for you. Why? I'll give you an analogy, and then you can tell me. If you went to somebody at a higher up, a senior or whatever, and you wanted a favor from them, and you went to them and you said, I don't really think you can do this for me, but here, I'll ask you for this favor. I'll give you this job application. I don't really think you have the power to give me this job, but here, I'll give you this job application. Do you think that person will give you the job? They'll probably tell you no. As soon as you walk out the door, they take your job application and trash it and go, well, you don't believe I can give it to you. Why should I give it to you? Go away, right? Now, a planet and the universe works just like that. If you think that the planet, the universe, or whoever doesn't have the power to give you anything, they will not give you anything. So you have to have full faith and full belief that they do have the power to give it to you, and that's why you're asking them for it. Just like you would in real life, a real person. Except planets and the universe has a lot more power than one single person in this universe. So ask the planet with humility and with respect and with discipline. This remedy works when you do that. Okay? So, any remedy works when you do that. So, this is the remedy for when you want a new job. If you just want to do it for career advancement, you still have to do this exact same remedy, offering water to the sun god. You just don't have to stick to the same time. But you do have to offer water every morning before you go to work. Offer water to the sun god. Do this mantra, Om Suryaya Namah, Om Adityaya Namah, whichever one you choose to, it's okay. They're both the same mantra. Chant it and then go to work. The timing is not important in that case. You can just do it whenever you go to work or before you go to work, right? You can just do that. I've known those people that have done it every single day of their lives, and you have no idea how well they've done in their career. They've never suffered any setbacks in their career. So this is the magic remedy. Do it with faith. Do it with complete surrender to the God. Ask for this. Ask for the favor. So ask the God for help. Ask the universe for help, and do it with the most positive feeling. And the miracle, you will see the miracle of this remedy. I've given it to a lot of people. It has worked for a lot of people. It has worked for some people. It hasn't worked for because they didn't have the faith in it. So try it, and I'd like some feedback on what happened when you did this remedy. Now, my next video will be on predictions on this beautiful transit that's happening. The world is changing so fast for the better. We've been through such a hard time during this pandemic. I feel the change. I'm sure you feel the change too. Do let me know and give me feedback if there's other things you want me to cover. In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel. And I love comments. I love responding to comments. Give me a like if you like the video. And share my video with everybody, especially those people that are looking for jobs in this time and career advancement. In the meantime, goodbye, good luck, and see you in my next video.